everybody, welcome back to another episode of our handmade holiday series where we are making all my ornaments for my tree. I was like, what am I doing? Where am I? What day is it? It's Friday. I'm in my living room and I can do this because I am full of painkillers and steroids. A giant one shot in each cheek. The guy came in, he said, I gotta put 2 shots in your bottom. I said, my bottom? I said, you call it an ass like a man. And he was like, okay. So, we are making the quilted fabric ornaments today. There's already a tutorial for this on my channel that everybody has access to, but I'm gonna do them up a little bit. I'm not really. I'm just gonna show you how to do 8 segments instead of 6. These, y'all, I love these. I love making them. They take forever. But I was looking on Etsy and someone sells these for $54 for 3 of them. First of all, are you out of your freaking mind? Secondly, how do you figure? I mean, they're nice fabric. It's nice trim. It's still styrofoam ball covered in fabric. So let's break it down. Here are my balls. Let me tell y'all something. What I'm not gonna do is spend $4 on a styrofoam ball this size. I don't know why styrofoam is so expensive. I don't know who she thinks she is, but she's not the one. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna take one of these, you're gonna stab it with a skewer, take it outside, spray paint it white. You can chalk paint these, you can paint them by hand if you want. I don't have that kind of time. I just say chalk paint because chalk paint sticks to nearly everything. And if you're using dark fabrics, skip this step. This blue shows through if you're using anything like even a little light. Like even if it's a white with a pattern or a light blue, any kind of pastel. So yeah, these are just sprayed with whatever white spray paint I had, whatever light color spray paint you have. Even if you had like a dark colored spray paint, you just want it to be even. And they're not like super great coats, it's just enough to block out some of that color. So yeah, I usually buy these, I buy about 9 of these balls at a time and usually work on 3 at a time, but I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I have 6 spray painted right now, just because I bought 6 the last time I was out and spray painted them all. Sprint, you know, I just cleaned this table, really? I need a new mat so bad. I was outside, my mom was sticking them and handing them to me. I was spraying them, handing them back, and she was sticking them in a box for them to drop. So, alright, what do we need now? I just filmed a video about being organized and my stuff is everywhere. I like these balls because they are 12 inches around. I don't know if that's circumference or diameter. Sounds like it's circumference, right? Because circumference means like when Magellan circumnavigated the globe. Yeah, these are 12 inches. So I think they work out to be like a 3, maybe a 4-inch ball. But whatever your measurement is, it helps a lot to have one of these equators on here. If you buy the styrofoam balls like, oh, I know I have one over here. I thought I had one over here. Well, you've seen the mushroom video by now. Those polystyrene, the ones that are like, it's real textured. If you buy those don't have a equator on them. That's just what we're gonna call it. The extruded polystyrene, the ones that are like the smooth styrofoam balls that are pebbly when you break them up, those do have an equator on them. Like they have like a molding line. I like this. It's $1. I think I looked today and like, it was like 3 something for 2 balls at Walmart. So unless you have a supplier of polystyrene balls with an equator on them, go to Dollar Tree. Steal these. I mean, like some little kid was like, Mommy, I want that for my birthday. And I said, you can't have that. And I snatched it out of his hands and I said, I have to make a Christmas ornament with that. The woman said, you are so rude. And I said, your kid is rude. Why does he want things? I didn't get anything for Christmas besides all those years I got new ponies every year. Okay. So steal from children and then we shall proceed. This can come off now. I actually need to stir my coffee with the other end of that, I think. Yeah. Not my coffee, my tea. I have tea. I have energy tea. Okay. Because I have a headache. Probably because I'm so excited. Alright, so around here, the circumference, or the, what you want to call it, is 12 inches. I'm going to take these two pins right here. You don't have to do this, you can just hold it if you want. And again, you don't have, this is not like, this is not brain surgery. This is not rocket surgery. I just like to not have to hold it as much. You know, I want my hands free to mark. I don't want to be, I don't like to, what am I trying to say here without sounding like, I don't like to hold things. I don't like to have to hold this and rotate it and mark with the pen. So I know, let me take out my calculator, just, oh, I meant to go charge my phone up. Alright, so we have 12 inches, okay? We want 8 segments, but we usually do 6. So if we want to do 6, you divide that, you need to mark every 2 inches. If we have 12 segments, and we want to do it every 8 inches, we have to do 1.5. If you want to do, what else would you do? 12 divided by 10? You can't do that. Well, I guess you could mark 1 point, like 1.25, but stick to 8. 8 is a lot. 8 is like, going to give you a very nice ball. So we're starting here. I'm just going to put my mark right there, and these aren't all, like, see this is maybe 1/8 of an inch off. I'm not going to worry about that. 1.5, 3, 4.5, 6, 7.5, 9, 10.5. Wait, is that right? Yeah. 10.5 and 12. Now you can still kind of see through here where this is the center. This is what they want you to think is the center. I don't know that that's actually the center. It doesn't look like it. It looks like it's off to the side, and this one is here, which also doesn't look like the center. It's not really important. I think the polystyrene balls have an equator, and they have like a little dot right here, like a little circle. So if you had those, if you were absolutely, like if you tried to do this and you were like, I absolutely cannot do that, it's not perfect. The polystyrene balls are the way to go because they have all the markings you need. I just eyeball this, like I make sure that this, from looking like this, that it looks pretty, what is this, perpendicular to the equator. And it's going to go across the top. Oh. And once you put this first line in, you can use it to gauge the rest of your lines. So I'm going to come over to the other side. Meet up here. See this one now, it's going off to the side. So I just want to eyeball it and center it, and that looks pretty good to me. Alright, so that's it looks good this way. It doesn't look so, it looks a little bit off that way, but I'm going to show you why it doesn't matter once we get to it. Alright, and then just move on to the next one. I like to go, instead of doing the next one, I'm going to skip over, like, say this is north, south, east, west. I did west to east or east to west, and now I'm going to do north to south. That looks good. Again, do not stress yourself out about this. I'm sorry if these videos get out of frame. It's not easy for me to work here because I'm like leaning into it, so it's more comfortable for me to like work like this, but then y'all can't see anything, so. Okay, now we have north, south, east, west. We're gonna do the 2 marks in between. Y'all can go over here now. I don't need y'all in a way. Over there. Thank you. And we're just using this as straight edge. We're not really measuring anything. But now when we do this, we're going to line it up on here. Like line the one up. I mean like line one of these lines up with the equator. Line the tape up with our little dash mark. And line this up with the center. Because now we have a reference point that we made. And it may or may not be perfect. Doesn't matter. Line the one up on the equator, line that up there, this across from there, that there. And I like a fine line Sharpie for this. See, I said this was the center right here, but this is our new center. Lining the one up like this, going across our center. That could be over more. I'm not going to worry about it. Like, see, this one is slightly, like, it should have kind of been through here, but it really doesn't matter. If you want to do the 6 segment, it's slightly easier, but I mean, you're doing the exact same thing. You're just working with more pieces. And the reason I'm doing this one is because when you try, I'm trying to use pre-cut fabric that I bought. If you try, I'm going to show you in a second. If you try to do it using 2.5-inch strips from pre-cuts, the 6 segment is 2 inches. That means you only have a 1/4 inch on each side. When you do this segment, that's 1.5 inches. The strips are 2.5 inches, so you have 1 inch on each side, which makes it a lot easier to tuck everything in. Vanilla Spice, Perfect Energy, Yogi Tea, Bomb. Okay. And I haven't sat down. I've been so busy dying in bed that I haven't really sat down and done anything for a while, and I'm like, oh, I'm excited. Okay, this is the, I'm like, okay. This is the knife I like to use. It is just one of the ones with a retractable blade. I really like this one that I got from Goodwill. I think they're the exact same thing in different colors. They are the exact same thing in different colors. So, maybe I got both of these at Goodwill. They have a section of, like, new crap at my Goodwill. I don't know why. It pisses me off. Because I'm like, why is that new crap here? If I want new crap, I'd go to, like, the new crap store. But I like this one over an X-Acto blade just because it's a little bit more for me to hold on to. Sometimes I feel like with the X-Acto blade, like, I'm just like, oh, I don't know. What you're going to do, come down on your line. And trace your line in a sawing motion. And you want to make sure that this is out, like, how much is that? Like 3/4 of an inch? I mean, you can go a little deeper if you want to, but you don't want to go so far where you're cutting the ball in half. And just make sure it's locked and you'll be good. Okay, so I'm going to trace this line all around in a sawing motion up and down. And you can kind of pull through these if you want. I just feel every time I do that, I'm like, you know, I go off course a little bit. So we're back where we started. Here's that first line. Now, when you go to do your next line, I don't like cutting into this like this. So I'll start on this side, cut into the center, and now I don't want to keep going like this just because I feel like sometimes it pulls, sometimes it rips. So I'll turn this around, cut this from this side, and then go back around all the other way until I meet back up where I started over here. See, this is where I came in, so I'm just gonna neaten that up a little bit. Okay, this one's done, this one's done, there. So now we have to do this side and cut into your center. Don't cut across it. And I was going to use my Proxon for this, but I know y'all don't have it, and don't buy it because I have not. I had such grand, like, I was like, oh, this is going to make everything so much easier. The learning curve is ridiculous. Like, it's just a lot to try to figure out. And now that these are spray painted, I really don't want to try to cut them. When you're buying these, make sure, do I have one right now? What did I do with them? Make sure you squeeze them all over, because one of these has, oh look, this one has a void in it, which I got it just because it wasn't bad. Really? I got it because it wasn't bad, but another one I had, I cut into it and an entire segment fell out because the whole inside of it was hollow. You want the ones that you're like, okay, that feels pretty firm. Okay, where are we? This is done, this is done. Let's do this one. Cut into the center. Like the boring part. Like I don't like this, only because like I can't do this part and watch Gossip Girl at the same time, because you know there's a very sharp blade in my hand, but everything else you can pretty much do by feel, so you don't have to be like staring at it the whole time. Okay, we're all good in the hood. The hood being where I live. Okay. One word of advice here, if you can. It's very rare that this is going to happen to you. If you can find one that has just a seam instead of a raised up section, get that, because these will kind of show afterwards. I don't care. Like, it doesn't bother me. Mostly because I've only been making these for wreath embellishments, but if you were making them as a gift or something, you might want to go through there and trim that little, because it's got like it's got a lip on it. You can trim it off, or take a sanding block or an emery board or something like that and just kind of knock it off. Okay. I need to take those tea bags out of this. It's starting to get a little bitter. Oh, I turned too quickly. But I'm okay. Except now I have tea all over my thing. Alright. So now, this is the fabric that I am using. I think you guys have seen a picture of one of the 6 round ones before I decided to do the 8 rounds. So this is my fabric. It's from Joann's. I don't know what the line is called. It's just a pre-cut. I really wanted Heather Bailey fabric or Tula Pink, but I could not afford it because those are like $40. This one was $14. Yeah, I really wanted it though. It was so pretty. So I think there's 2 strips of each. But I'm just gonna pick out. I'm not gonna like go through. Oh, okay, everything's falling all over the place. Oh no, maybe there's 4 strips of each. What's going on? I think there's 2 strips of each. So if you you're like, hey, I want to do those, I want very traditional colors, go to Walmart, y'all. Their jelly rolls are already, this is what this is called, a jelly roll. It's 2.5 inches by the width of the fabric. Their jelly rolls are already out. There's a ton of like farmhouse themed ones. There's like traditional red and green Christmas ones. And they're like maybe $9 or something like that. I don't even know. That seems high. But this was $14. The Tula Pink ones were like $40. The other ones I was looking at were like the name brand, the designer ones are pretty expensive for what it is. You know, that fabric is $10 a yard, so yeah. Okay, so now that these are all laid out, there should be, I think was it 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 10. So we need to decide, of these 10, which ones do we want to use? And I absolutely know this one is one of them. We're going to do one of these. This one's, I read this as light, so I'm going to take another light one and another light one. Please don't fall on the floor. God knows what the dog has done over there. Yella came home from the emergency room this morning. The dog was like, I had my own emergency while you were gone. And I was like, are you serious? I was like, really? I just want to go lay down on my heating pad and now I have to steam mop everything in this house again. But he's got a bellyache. Alright, so these are my lights. This is obviously a dark. And if you want to do all lights, that's fine. I just want some contrast. I want this one. I know. Not a huge fan of this one. But I'm going to have to use it eventually, so I think I'm just going to take this one for now. And I would do these assembly style, like it's fun to like do one all the way through, but if you do it assembly style, you're going to save some time. You can just like plow through them. You know, spray all your balls. Like, you don't have to do, if you're doing 50 of them, you don't have to do all 50 at once, but spray your balls, mark them out, cut them all, and then sit down with your fabrics and cut everything out and make everything. Now, the reason we're using the 8 segments is because, like I said, these are, here's my dark ones, and they're not really dark, and these aren't really, well, oh, here, I was like, where's the other one? Okay, see, we need at least the 1.5 inch, which is this length right here, to cover. That is more than enough. What I can do, because I already had this cut, I can extend this, like say we're filling this triangle over here. I'm going to extend this 1/4 inch from here, bring it around and extend it 1/4 inch from here. Then I'm going to cut. And that's more than enough to cover one section. Now, if you're using yards of fabric, you can go in with, I knew my tape was right here. You can go in with some masking tape and just tape off this section, draw around it, peel it off, cut it. You'll have a template, so you know I need this much fabric, this shape, plus like 1/2 inch. So, I mean, you can do it either way. This is wasting a little bit of fabric, but I don't care. I'm gonna cut all my fabrics, just line everything up, except for this one because we already cut 2 of that. And I think using a jelly roll like this, I mean, this is 10 fabrics that I got for $14. So, it's a lot cheaper than buying like a quarter yard of 10 fabrics, because a quarter yard of 10 fabrics, if your fabric is $10 a yard, that's $2.50 times 10 is $25. So, but if you want something super custom, maybe you have to do that. And you really, if you wanted to, you could get away with using 4 fabrics, because you just need 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4. Mine are all going to be, oh, mine could all be different, but I think I'm going to do, like, since I have 10 fabrics, I could do 8 different ones on one ball, but I think I'm going to 1, 1, 2, 2, like that. Alright, did I forget the most important thing? I sure did, but I can use, what did I do with that skewer? Oh, here it is. You can use a skewer like this. You can use one of the Dollar Tree, like, stylus tools. I thought I had one of those over here. I do have one over here. Like this, but the embossing one, it's got like a little ball tip. You can use this section. This is a little big. I like a cuticle stick. You can use something like this. We'll give that a try. Use a butter knife, like anything that is thin and can get in between these segments. So this is how it goes. We're going to line this up a 1/4 inch away from the center. Oh, and before I do this, if you want, you can add batting to these. I thought that was a little involved for Christmas trees, for Christmas tree ornaments. If I was going to sell these, I might like do like a deluxe version where they were padded too. You know, they had a little bit of batting, because I have a $500 roll of batting, wool batting, from when I was used to quilt, and it's just been sitting in the corner of my living room for the past 10 years. So yeah. But you could get polyester, you know, you could get a cheap thing of polyester batting. Don't buy wool batting to put in these. So that's just kind of lined up. And I'm going to try this. I'm going to go through here and try to feel where, yeah, there it is. I like to, if there's not like a directional thing, like when I was doing one of these with like Harlequin fabric, and it was really hard because I wanted the Harlequin to stay straight. But with this, it doesn't really matter, because there's not, like, these aren't really directional fabrics, and you want like a 1/4 inch on either side, so here we go. Rudimentary trim. Look, I pushed this one so far it's in all the way into the other side. You can go back. Give it a better push in. The problem with these that I find is that when you get to up here, this is going to be a lot of bulk. It's going to get covered. So don't stress yourself out about it. I mean, I've made some where it's been like perfect, but those take so long, because you're like, all right, I got to get this in here and then move this over here. But when I go to put the fabric in over here, I need to make sure that that fabric comes over here. It's just like this first one, that's fine. You can do that in your sleep. But once you have 8 other ones in there, it gets a little it's a little tight. And just keep trimming. If you do this, if you do the 2.5 inch strips with the 6 segment ball, it's very difficult because you only have that 1/4 inch. You might like that, like if you're like, oh well, you know, then I don't have to deal with all this cutting, but it's a bit much. So this one is gonna go here and here. I'm gonna line up here and then do a 1/4 inch over here. That's why I like to cut mine fairly deep. I mean, but not so deep that I have to then come back and pull it out. Wow. I really jammed that in there. See, I'm going to continue with this and we can just have a little chit chat. So I woke up this morning and I said, it is a new day. I have a TENS unit. I'm going to put this TENS unit on. I'm going to let it work its magic. Then I'm going to get out of this bed. I'm going to have my breakfast and I'm going to start filming. And I'm going to make a wreath. And I'm going to film videos and I'm going to edit videos. And I'm going to have a good day. Got out of bed. I said, okay, I feel pretty good. Took the dog out. Felt pretty good. Started to walk towards the living room to weigh myself. Burst out in tears, fell to the ground. And then for an hour and a half, I tried for an hour and a half to get to the hospital. I could have called my mom, but she was at work, and I said, nope, not doing it. I said, Mom's not always going to be there when you're in excruciating pain, writhing on the floor with the dog licking your forehead. So, I stretched, and I stretched, and I turned up the TENS unit, and I stretched, and then I left the house, and I started walking down the street, trying to loosen up my back. My neighbor's outside smoking. It's like 5 in the morning at this point. She's like, oh my God. And I was like, what? I said, what are you doing out here so early? I said, I'm trying to go to the hospital. She said, okay. And then went inside. So, I walk all the way down to the end of the block, almost. I was like, I just gotta make it to that white car. I didn't make it to the white car. Alright, so these are my... Wait, I'm confused now. These are my darks. Excuse me, ma'am. Ma'am. Pretty sure I cut 2 of these, but I don't only have 1. Didn't I cut 2 of these? Did I only cut 1, you guys? Oh crap. No big deal. And it takes like a second to cut another one. So, get in the car and drive about 15 miles an hour down the highway. Now it's only 5 o'clock in the morning. It's like 5:30 at this point. And yeah, people are honking and people are mad. And to which I say, screw you guys. Get to the hospital. I walk in and like the security guard rushes up. He's like, are you okay? I was like, my back hurts a little bit. Just a little. It's not the end of the world. I think I cut too many of these. I cut 6 and I only needed 4. Okay, so our other light one, that's fine. I mean, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna put this one as our other light set. He's like, do you need a wheelchair? And I was like, nope, I made it this far. I was like, don't take this victory from me, Steve. This is a big victory for me. And he's like, what, get out of your car? And I was like, yeah. So I check in. The nurse is like, the woman at the registration desk, she's like, it's just gonna be a minute. All our rooms are full. And I was like, it's so early in the morning. Aren't all the crackheads gone by now? And I'm freaking out because I'm like, oh my God. I said, Louisiana is doing so bad with COVID right now. I was like, I don't, if somebody sneezes, if somebody even looks like they're gonna sneeze, I'm just gonna drop kick them out the hospital, out through these plate glass windows. That's what I'm gonna do. That was my plan. Luckily, it did not come to that. So the triage nurse comes in and she's like, what's going on? And I was like, I need a steroid and a pain reliever. And she's like, okay, why? And I was like, because my back hurts. And she's like, okay. And I was like, I'm in physical therapy. I have pain relievers and muscle relaxers at home. The only thing that works is a steroid. I need a steroid. And she was like, oh, okay. Let's take your blood pressure. Blood pressure was like perfect, of course. You know, I'm in like excruciating pain, but my blood pressure's like, okay, you're fine. She said, 1 to 10, what are you at? I said, I was at a 10. Now I'm at like a comfortable, throbbing 7. So she's like, all right, you know, she gets all my vitals. She said, all right, it'll just be a little bit. I said, how long is a little bit? She said, all our rooms are full, but people are getting ready to get discharged. I said, okay. So I go back into the waiting room, into the lobby. Y'all, does anybody here watch QVC? Like, watch it to buy stuff? I don't know why it was on. I guess because they're like, hey, let's not put the news on because the news is horrible. And that's the last thing you want when you're in the emergency room and the news people come along and like, hi, everyone you know is dead. And I'm like, oh my god, that seems so pointed and like such a personal attack on me. But I'm watching QVC and there's this woman over there and I'm like, this is the fakest bitch I have ever seen. She's like, y'all, let me tell y'all, I love my Skechers Sport Flex shoes. I wear these all the time. Y'all know I'm in heels now, but when I leave this set, when I go home, when I'm running my kids back and forth to soccer practice and church, and I was like, oh my god, Brenda Sue. She's like, I love these. I love them. I have them in every color. I was like, you have them in every color? They're $50 a piece. And there's 47 colors. You're a liar. She's like, look at this floral orange. That is beautiful. Oh, wait, no. I'm hearing that the floral orange is sold out completely. Oh, y'all are so, I'm so glad. Thank God. Thank the Lord. Thank the good Lord Jesus Christ that y'all were able to get those in time because they are beautiful. We're coming up on fall, but you can wear them all year round. And I was like, I can wear these electric orange shoes like for Christmas. Brenda Lee. So I'm watching it and I'm like, what does this woman do? Like, what kind of like, I don't know. I'm like, could I go on TV and like straight up lie about stuff like this? God, she ain't wearing them damn Skechers. She got QVC money. But I mean, how is that any different than me coming on here and being like, hi guys, today we're going to make a wreath and it's going to be awesome because everything's fine and I'm definitely not dying inside. So I'm watching it and she's like, okay, alright y'all, we are going to go now to Farrah. Farrah is wearing the JDX4 jeans. Now Farrah, honey. And the model's like, yeah, yes, Brenda Lee. She's like, what size are you? And she's like, I'm a size 14. She's like, size 14, and she is a beautiful. Look at her. And I was like, oh, well, that, I mean, I don't think you had to bring her size into it. She's like, every day she shows up here looking more beautiful than the last. When she comes in the morning, she looks just like this. Oh my God, she is beautiful. And look at those pants. Do you love them, Farrah? And she's like, yes, I love them. They're beautiful. And I was like, girl, no you don't. I see you. You want some apple bottom jeans. I know who you are, Farrah. So they show up these ugly pants. And she's like, y'all, we are almost out of these ugly ass pants. Y'all are just buying these up. I like, when I go to church to pray to the Lord Jesus, I like to wear the gray pants because they're not as solemn as a black pant, but they're still sophisticated. And I was like, is she, like, what is that? What, who is this woman? Can I find her on Instagram? I love her. I want to be her. I want her to adopt me. I want to marry her. I want to have her children. I don't know what's going on. She's amazing. So she's like, okay, we're out of the army green, which that is a good color for fall, y'all. And I'm going to tell you right now, right after this item, we have some beautiful shirts coming up. And I'm like, oh my God, what are these shirts going to be? The shirt, come on, it's the ugliest thing I've ever seen. It's a plaid shirt, like a flannel, and in the back it's got like a floral print. And they're like, we are going to talk to Mang Lee, who designed these shirts. And I'm like, oh my God, oh my God. So this little bitty tiny Asian woman comes on and she's like, hello, Brenda Sue. And Brenda Sue's like, Mang Lee, these are gorgeous. And she's like, oh, thank you, Brenda Sue. That was not my attempt at an offensive Asian accent. She's like, thank you. And she's like, what was your inspiration behind these? And she's like, well, I like the juxtaposition of the flannel for fall, but floral. And I was like, oh my God. Seriously? So she's like, Brenda Sue like has a cardigan on. She takes it off. She's like, you know what? I already forgot what the other woman's name was. Sue, whatever. She's like, I'm gonna take this cardigan off. I'm gonna try these on because this one looks like it's about my size. This is a medium. So she takes it off and she puts it on. And she's like, this is the most luxurious thing I have felt today. It is beautiful. And I was like, yeah, you forgot about your shoes already, huh? Brenda Tiffany. She's like got the shirt on. She turned around. They cut back to Farrah, who now has on the pants that she's definitely not wearing, and this hideous middle-aged menopausal Miley Cyrus shirt on. And she's like, Farrah, what do you think? And she's like, I love it. And I was like, girl, you got $900 of Mongolian wavy sewn into your head. You don't love that damn shirt. She's like, oh, I love it. And I was like, no, you don't. You don't. You're lying. You're too pretty to lie. You're size 14 and you're beautiful. You don't have to lie. So I'm like so invested in this. And she's like, y'all coming up, we got some jewelry. And I was like, oh my God, I can't wait to see what kind of jewelry they have. And then the nurse comes out. She's like, Adam Shedivert. And I was like, damn it. I was like, I was going to buy some jewelry. Here's some Skechers. Those Skechers, I wonder sometimes like when they say stuff is sold out, like is it actually sold out? Because who is up that early in the morning? But I guess those QVC people, they just don't sleep. My grandma used to watch QVC all the time, like day and night. And she was always ordering like she ordered with these I used to wrap her Christmas presents, and I went over to her house and she's like, can you come wrap the Christmas presents, baby? And I was like, you gonna pay me? And she was like, yeah, I'll pay you. And I was like, all right. So I went over there and she's got like, the whole wall is just stacked full of these boxes. I was like, Grandma, what is this? She's like, oh, it's beautiful. Open it up and I'll show you. So I open it up and it's like this. I'm going to get to the emergency room thing eventually. I open it up and it's like this ceramic angel that has all these slits in the skirt. And she hands me a napkin and I try to fold it into an elf shoe and it doesn't work and I get pissed off and throw it away. She's like, put it in there, honey. And I was like, why? And she's like, just do it. So I put it in there and I'm like, what is it? She's like, you put the napkins in the angel's skirt. And then she has a beautiful napkin skirt. And I was like, oh. She's like, I ordered 20 of them for everybody. And I was like, I don't want that. She said, not for you. And I was like, oh. She's like, for my friends. And I was like, oh, okay. So I proceed to wrap these 20 angel things. And my mom got it for Christmas. And she was like, what the hell is this? And I was like, let me tell you about this, Melanie. This is a one-of-a-kind limited edition angel napkin holder. Now, in between church and bringing my kids to soccer, I like to put my napkins in here. And I was just like, oh, Grandma. But she was always ordering stuff. Anyway, I get to the back. This nurse comes in. Y'all, can I be a bit graphic with y'all for a second? This nurse, I texted Michelle. It was like 6:15 at this point. She'd done already been sleeping. She still got 14 hours of sleep before she decided to get up. I texted her and I was like, this nurse has an outrageous ass, and I'm trying to get a picture of it. Did not get a picture. I was not stealthy enough. I was just like, oh my, like he was talking to me and I was like, his ass is enormous. But like a good way enormous. And he's like, what's going on, man? You hurt your back? You were working out? And I was like, do I look like I was working out? Ass master? No. I was like, no, it's a recurring chronic pain thing. I said, I just need some steroids. And he's like, I threw my back out. He said, you ever try soaking in Epsom salts? And I was like, no. I said, I'm too tall to fit in my tub. And I know your ass doesn't fit in the tub because it is outrageous. I said, I said, you need to take that thing out of here. I said, I'm jealous. I'm confused. But he was like a big, like, obviously worked out guy. And I was like, how does a white boy get an ass like that? Is that real? Can you tell me how you did that? And the best part is, but he's the one who gave me my shot. So he came in, he's like, can you drop your pants? And I was like, do I have to? And then I dropped my pants. He looked at my butt and he was like, you call that a butt? And I was like, I guess. I call it my bottom. Because he was like, I need to put some shots in your bottom. And I was like, okay. I was like, don't take pictures of it because that would be rude. But can you turn around and like just not pay attention to me for a second so I can get a picture of your butt to send to my friend? So I talked to him. He's like, all right, man, we're gonna get you sorted out. Don't worry. And I was like, okay. Okay, so this is, I want this one, maybe? Yeah. He's like, we're gonna get you feeling good. Like, he was super nice too. He had also just started his shift, so I imagine, and I waited like an hour and a half. I was only there for like an hour and a half. He's like, I'm so sorry about the wait. I was like, you're so sorry about the wait. I said, most of the time I come here, I wait an hour and a half before I even get into triage. So he's like, we're going to get the, Dr. Fernandez is going to come in and talk to you. He said, we're going to get you feeling better, all right, man? And I was like, okay. I texted my mom, and I was like, I'm in the emergency room. And she's like, oh my God, what's wrong? And I was like, nothing. I said, I'm fine. I said, the nurse is so sweet. And she was like, who is she? I was like, it's a guy. His name is Luke. He's my best friend now. We're going to go train, we're going to go ass train together. We're going to work on our glutes. So like, I'm sitting there, and like, not 5 minutes later, the doctor comes in, and I was worried that it was this other doctor who I had one time. One time I had this doctor. I went to the emergency room with a headache when I used to get tension headaches really bad. I went there and I was like, I am in so much pain. I was like, please give me Dilaudid. And he was like, what do you want? And I was like, whatever you think will get rid of this headache. Yo, I gotta turn the air on. I'm sorry. Hold on. Oh. Is it 70 degrees? That's as outrageous as that guy's ass. Okay. So he comes in. This is the headache doctor. He comes in. Well, not the headache doctor. The time I was at the emergency room with the doctor. He's like, what do you want? And I was like, whatever you think is best. He's like, but what do you want? And I was like, what do you mean what do I want? I was like, oh, he's just telling me what kind of drugs do I want so you can get me out of here. Because my, that's 90% of what my emergency room is for. Not my emergency room, the emergency room where I go. It's just people that have been like, hey man, I hurt my back, I need like a bunch of Vicodin. And the doctor's just like, Jesus, just get them out of here so when somebody's having a heart attack, we can actually help them. And I thought it was going to be him. It wasn't him, it was another guy. He came in, super nice. He's like, I am so sorry for the wait, Mr. Chenevert. And I was like, really? I was like, I literally packed a lunch because I thought that's how long I was going to be here. He's like, what's going on? And I was like, I had this thing with my back. I'm in physical therapy right now. I said it was really bad this morning, and I can't manage it anymore on my own. I said I have a TENS unit. I'm on muscle relaxers. I have pain pills. I said it's not letting up. I said I need like some steroids. He's like, okay. He's like, have you tried this? Have you tried that? He actually he gave me a shot of steroids and tramadol. No, Toradol. One of them. He was like, I'm gonna get my nurse to get in and give you some shots in your butt, and you're gonna be jealous of his butt. And I was like, I already am kinda. He's like, me too. So he's like, yeah, well, let me just can you just, because I was sitting in the chair, because I said every time I get in bed, it takes me 45 minutes to get out. So I was just sitting in the chair, like playing on my phone. He's like, let's take a look. So he just, he's like, where is it? And I was like, oh, it's kind of there. He's like, what is your pain level at? And I was like, I guess it's at like a 5, maybe. I said, it's not that bad right now, but I've also been in this room stretching for the past hour and a half. He's like, I'm so sorry it took so long. And I was like, dude, it's really fine. Like, I'm good. So he's like, we're going to get you all fixed up. So he leaves. Nurse comes back in. He's like, all right, show me your ass. And I was like, oh, you first. So I get the prednisone shot and the Toradol. I get Toradol and tramadol confused. I think it's Toradol, and I have a prescription for tramadol at CVS that I have to go pick up. Well, if you pay attention to CVS, I need to pick it up 8 hours ago. As soon as it was ready, they want me there. They're like, why aren't you here? Why aren't you picking this up? And I'm like, calm down, first of all, Geneva. Because that's what I figure her name is. So the doctor comes back and he's like, listen, I'm gonna give you a referral to Dr. Voorhees. And I was like, Jason Voorhees? He's like, no, Michael. And I was like, Michael Myers? He's like, no, Michael Voorhees. So I was like, oh, okay. I said, it's basically Halloween. It's basically Christmas. So Halloween just passed, and he's like, it's July. He's like, it's August. I still think it's July. He's like, he's a pain management specialist, and you can see him, and maybe this is something he can help you with, and you can, work with him to figure out a plan for, you know, to help you out. And I was like, really? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, why did my physician never recommend that? Because I mean, like, I knew they were like pain doctors, but I don't know. I was just like, oh, thank you. He's like, it's fine, buddy. He's like, I want you to have a good day, okay? He's like, these are going to kick in about a half an hour. You're going to feel great. I said, okay. So I left there, went to Walmart because the dog has decided that he's, I don't know, anorexic now. He's like, I don't want to eat anything. I just want to be a skinny, gorgeous superstar. And I was like, okay, you can do that. You only weigh 10 pounds, so eat your damn food. And he was like, no, I don't think so. So I've tried everything. I've like mixed it with water. I've added like a little, I mean, the tiniest pinch of that better than bouillon stuff just to be like, okay, look, it's chicken flavored. And he's like, no, I don't think so. He's like, I don't know, I'm fine. So I went and got him the wet version of his dry food. I brought it home to him and he was like, oh my God, I love it. And I was like, yeah, good, thanks, eat it. See, this is now, see how messy this is in the center? And you can work with this. If you don't want to put the trim on it, you can work it and get it nice and perfect. I don't have time for all of that, y'all. And I watch QVC online. They have a YouTube channel, huh? Y'all, I was having so much fun. I was like, look at those sneakers. And the woman was like, she's like, yeah, they come in red and I have them in red. Oh, she had them in every color. I have them in red and I love them because I don't know what it is about a red snake. When I put a red snake on, I just feel like I am going faster. And I was like, that is the equivalent of a 6-year-old saying that he has a race car with flames on it that goes faster than your race car because it's got flames on it. Oh, I love these. Even though red is the color of Satan. I was like, oh. Yeah, QVC, y'all, is a trip. I'm going to order. Well, if I bought Christmas presents for people, I would order all of them from QVC, just like my grandma. I'd probably call her and be like, yeah, you remember my grandma? And I'd be like, what's her name? And I'd give it to them, and they're like, oh yeah, she's got 12 million loyalty points. Okay, I'm just going to go through. There's like, I know y'all can't see this. I can barely see it. There's like a couple of little tucks, which we're about to cover up, so it doesn't matter. But if you're not going to cover it, if you just wanted to stay like this, I don't know why you would, because it's about to be so much prettier. This is a little loose up here, so I'm just going to... There we go. Cute. Did I do it right? Yeah. Oh God. See, if I had done that before I had the steroid shots from Good Ass this morning, I probably just would have thrown up. It hurt so bad, but I'm okay. Alright, so you can kind of, I know you can't see it, you can kind of feel that ridge right there. I'm not going to let it bother me. So, I don't know how long that took. It probably would have been a lot quicker had I not been telling you a story. Alright, so now, next time I have one dark and one light. And the dark and light really doesn't matter. It can be anything you want it to be. Clearing the decks. Alright, now, I don't know I don't know if you guys are going to be able to get this when you make these exact ornaments. I know nobody's going to make these exact ornaments. I mean, maybe you will. Maybe you're like, oh my God, that's a beautiful Christmas theme that has nothing to do with Christmas. Michelle asked me what the theme for my Christmas tree was, and I said Willy Wonka. I said it's like Willy Wonka and that time we did mushrooms and went to that key party. And she was like, what? And I was like, remember when that time we did mushrooms and went to the key party? And she was like, that wasn't me. And I was like, that wasn't you? And she's like, no, who did you go to a key party with? And I was like, never mind. These are from Michael's. I think it's like $10 for, it might be like $15. They have them in red and green, which if you're doing traditional Christmas, that's great. I think they're like, I think they are seasonal, like they change, they always have them. I've never been there and been like, oh, what are those things? I always see them. And I got this one because I was like, this is what I want my Christmas thing to look like, because oh, I don't have a mushroom here. I mean, I have one that's not painted, but do I? Oh no, I put it away. I put it away because I was smart. But yeah, started with the paper, found this, found the fabric, decided on the mushrooms, got this. So that's where we're at. So I'm gonna take, I like this. I don't want to pull them all the way out. I like the pink. Well, I guess I can pull them all the way out, like it doesn't really. But yeah, they come in red and green. I think they have like a natural thing. So if you're doing like farmhouse and you get like a bunch of neutral colored fabrics, they have like, you know, browns with some blacks and tans and creams and stuff like that. Really pretty ones. And like this. I love this one. I'm about to buy another pack of these just to get more of this trim with the blue, with the, oh no, there's another piece in here. Look at that. This is the only one I probably won't use just because it's very big. Like, and if I put this on here, it completely covers something. I think in one of the other ones I like made a little top knot thing like that, which you can do. This is wide too, but I like that. Okay, how many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and let's pull out a wild card just because we can. Some metallic gold rickrack. This is $1.78 at Walmart for like 3 yards. I don't know about this one and the blue one. And this, yeah, this one might be a little thin, so I might pull out something else. How does this work? Okay, there it is. Oh my god, I love rickrack. It's just like one of those like nostalgic things. Alright, and now we're just gonna take our, I know this doesn't matter, y'all, but y'all know I am. What do you think the guy did? Do you think he did squats? We're going to trim every seam with one of these, and you can go all the way around with this. I'm going to do eight different trims just because I'm extra. And you don't have to decide which is, I'm actually going to do the yellow over here because that's also rickrack. You don't really have to decide what's your top and what's your bottom yet. I'm going to tell you how I wanted to finish these, how I would ideally like to finish these, and how I'm actually going to finish them. Well, at least finish this one. I wanted some bead caps. But the only ones they had at Walmart, like they had a pack that had 3 different sizes in it, and there were only like 10 of the large size, which is the ones I needed. I wanted to put at the bottom a bead cap, take a pin, put a crystal on it, put the bead cap on, put another bead underneath that, and then stick it in the bottom so it would have like a little pointy decorative thing at the bottom. I was like, what am I going to do with all these other ones? So I didn't get them, but that's an idea. Just if you have something like this, make sure you're straddling. Like, don't put it like this on one side of the line. Make sure you straddle the line so our segments are kind of even. Even though you can you tell that this one is bigger than this one? This might be like the last one or the first one or whatever it was that was like an 1/8 of an inch smaller. And not only is this adding a further little decoration to these balls, but the hot glue is going to hold everything together so nothing comes on top. Not that it would, unless, you know, you have a child with grubby hands that's pulling at stuff. In which case, take his ball from him, knock him over, and make a new ornament. Should I film a video of me going to Dollar Tree and knocking children over and taking stuff from them? Let me know down in the comments. This one's nice, it's like velvety. Yeah, that's our theme this year. The time we did mushrooms and went to a key party. I'm assuming everyone knows what a key party is. What's that movie where they have the key party? You know, when you go to, what was like in the 70s? Where you go to a party and everybody throws their keys in like a punch bowl. And then you pick out, you reach in and grab a set of keys and then somebody's like, oh, that's my keys. And then that's who you go off with and do stuff with. I was like, we never went to a key party. Did you go to a key party and not tell me? I was like, yes, Michelle. I invented a time machine and went back to the 70s where something like that was relevant. She's like, well, I don't know if they still do that. I was like, why would people still do that? You can just find random people online to do that with. No, you don't have to go to a party and give up your car keys. I didn't go to a key party with you. I was like, oh my god, you're so stupid. She got her kid's haircut, y'all. Oh my god, this poor child. I don't know what is wrong with this kid. She like doesn't like her hair in her face. She's like, she's just, I think she's just difficult. So Michelle keeps getting her this haircut where her bangs are cut literally to her hairline. Like her bangs are like 1/4 inch. And every time she gets them cut, Michelle's like, we didn't got a haircut today. And I'm like, oh my god, Michelle, what did that child ever do to you to deserve that? She's like, that's fine. And I was like, it's not fine. I was like, this poor child. She's like, they grow back. I was like, yeah. She's like, this is her back to school haircut. And I was like, oh. Because she's going to, Corinne, she's not old enough to get vaccinated yet. So Michelle is not sending her back to school. She's doing distance learning again. But the only place she could go is hosted in, the school is located in Houston. Michelle lives in Dallas. So, yeah, she's doing school through there. And I was like, those Houston kids are going to tear her apart when they see that haircut. But she's like she's very tomboy. Like, she doesn't like princess stuff and she doesn't like being fancy, so. Not that she's like tomboy, but I think she just likes the short hair. And I'm like, you could do that short hair better. She wants to look like Poppy the Troll from the Trolls movie. And I was like, what? Because that's not what every little girl wants to look like. Like, hey, can you give me a haircut that makes me look like the troll? I gotta call Michelle. I can't believe I got all of this done. Like, I know this is not a lot. Like, it's just like, oh, I'm sitting here making an ornament, we're chilling and we're talking and whatever. But this is like so much for me that I'm still here and like I'm gonna finish this ornament in one sitting. And I don't have that many drugs in me. I mean, besides like the injectables and stuff. Like I took Tylenol this morning and that's it. Like, I haven't taken any other painkillers, I haven't taken any muscle relaxers. Is it dinner time? No, it's 2:52. Alright, I don't know about this, but let's go for it. I should have put this one on first just because it's super skinny. And I could have tucked it underneath everything else. Alright, I need this to come So I started watching Gossip Girl. I think I said that in one of the other videos. Y'all, I'm obsessed. My sister was like, "You watching it?" And I was like, "Oh God, no." I said, "I'm not a teenage girl." I was also not a teenage girl when I watched the first version of it, and now I want to go back and watch that. Cause I'm like, I can't wait every week for a new episode. I need the drama now. So I'm gonna go back and watch the original series. Okay, that is done. She's looking a mess. So I'm gonna take this. Which side looks neater? I think this one looks a little slightly neater. So this will be the top. Just gonna put some glue right here. Get that down and then kind of swing it around. And burn the crap out of my finger! Oh, I might burn myself and have to go back to the emergency room. I don't know what it is about the nurses there. Everybody's like super beautiful. The other nurse, well, he's like the lead nurse. I think he was there today, but I just didn't have him. Him and his wife own this. It's called Girls Gone Buff. It's like one of those boot camp things. And he's like super, like just perfect white teeth. And I'm like, why do we have to be a supermodel to work at this hospital? And he's like, it's something that's in our union. And I was like, oh, okay. Pop off, bro. Can I call you bro? And he's like, no, you can't. Because I talk like Bane. And I was like, oh. That's fair. I don't hang my ornaments, but if you do, let's make a tie out of the smallest piece of fabric ever, the smallest piece of trim ever. My back is starting to get a little bit tired, but we're almost done. See, if you want to do the more simplified version of this, which is not actually any simpler, it's just not as many segments, you can search how to make a quilted fabric ornament on my channel. I'll try to link it down below if I remember. I had to link it today for somebody because I was going to take that one off and put it here, and then I was like, no, I'll give the Patreon people a new tutorial full of me talking about my adventures. That's our top, and then we gotta cover this on the bottom, and we could do that little thing again, but I found these. They look like jerseys. And they were cheaper than the bead caps, so ideally I would like a nice big bead cap, but I'd also like to be able to get these easily. Okay, did the adhesive on that just totally peel off with the sticker? That's fine, I'm going to take that off anyway. Well, no, I'm going to leave it on because I can't get it off. Push that down a little. Cool. Now, this is our ornament. It's beautiful. If you want to go next level, which I might do some of them next level, you can come in and subdivide these again. And I have some rhinestone cup chain that would be awesome on here. You come in with beads and sequins and not safety pins and straight pins and just stud these a little bit. I think that would be really cool. But for now, oh, beautiful! I love this, y'all. I mean, this thing is definitely not centered, but when I put this in a tree, it'll be like. Probably like this, because I don't don't really have hanging stuff in my tray. It looks so off-centered though. I think that's just the way it's hanging. Oh, but yeah, if you broke this down, the ball's $1. The fabric, I mean, I don't know how many ornaments I'm going to be able to get out of here. Let's say it's 10 cents worth of fabric, maybe. 10, let's say 25. Let's say just 25. 25. It's like $1.60 maybe, something like that. Yeah, the most expensive thing is the ball. I think maybe this top just isn't centered. Oh well, so there it is. See, can you see right there? That's that seam. I'm not gonna let that bother me. This looks like where I cut it off because it's not as, oh no, it's right here. I can feel that I cut that part off, but that's up to you how involved you want to get. Okay, I'm gonna go rest and then I'm gonna paint some mushrooms. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you guys make these. And I wish Patreon let y'all post pictures. Like, wouldn't that make sense? Whatever. Tag me on Instagram. @AdamShinivert. Alright. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later. Stock up on these balls. Steal them from children if you have to. Bye, guys.